if Texas A&M rolls into the swamp and blows out the Gators, are they just going to show Billy Napier the door? No, probably not. Right, Brandon Olsen of Locked On Gators? That's not going to happen, right? Boy, that's a long pause. That's a long pause.
um, I don't think it necessarily would, but there is a section internally that is kind of next loss he's out, regardless of whether or not it's a blowout. There is a feel that could be the outcome. I don't buy that. I think that at the earliest they'd wait until a bye week. Like maybe you lose this week and you make the decision that he's gone, and then after Mississippi State next week, when you have a bye, you make the move. But yeah, things don't feel awesome in Gainesville right now.
No, not exactly. And Texas A&M comes into town in semi-wounded animal mode. I don't know. I don't think A&M fans have as much pressure put on this first season for Mike Elko as Florida fans do for the third year of Billy Napier. But I just wonder about that. Like, you hear the sarcasm in my voice. It's only 60% sarcasm for me, because if you, in your first 3 games, Brandon, have 2 blowout losses to programs that you don't have an excuse in year 3 to be that far behind at home, I can see him making that sort of that sort of shift and going, you know what, we need to make a change here and make it very clear that we're starting our coaching search, and then we go hire Lane Kiffin, of course. But on this particular game, Brandon, how does Florida win?
I don't think they do.
Really?
I think I'm not saying that this is a game that I'm like, oh, Florida's definitely going to lose this, but I just think matchup wise, I don't think it's great based on what we've seen. Like, one thing with Texas A&M, Colin Klein, his run game's really creative. He uses counter quite a bit, uses pin pull scheme, and we saw Kentucky last year run counter quite a good bit, and Ray Davis had almost 300 yards. And until I see it from this coaching staff that they can properly prepare these guys for it, I just can't be confident in that. And then, of course, Texas A&M's defense, I know they haven't really produced pass rush wise the way that they've been expected to yet. Florida's offensive line, specifically the right side, has been really horrendous this year. If there's ever been a get right game for someone like Nick Scorton, who lines up typically against the right tackle, this is that game.
Yeah, and Scorton, the defensive end for Texas A&M, I don't think had the matchup or the performance that people were expecting in the matchup against Notre Dame. He's going up against an inexperienced offensive line in some spots, and look, Notre Dame did enough to win the football game, and it's not as if you didn't notice that Scorton was there, but he certainly didn't go off for 3.5 sacks and 8 quarterback pressures the way that you might have thought on paper. Before we get to the score prediction for every single SEC game this week, Brandon, Gators, Aggies in Gainesville, you're picking Texas A&M. I'm going with the home team here. I don't know why, because I don't really know what to make of either of these teams, but I'm going to go Gators 24-20.
I picked on the crossover with Andrew Stefaniak of Locked On Aggies. I picked A&M 31-27.
Okay. Well, even Brandon's not confident in the Gators, and if he's not, then who is? Me, apparently.
Well, I need the coaching staff to show me literally anything. Just anything. Just
tough times in Gainesville. Tough times in Gainesville right now. Let's go rapid fire. Round the SEC. Bama at Wisconsin. Any danger for the Crimson Tide?
No, I don't think so. I think Bama's got that one pretty easily.
I do as well. I don't know if they cover the 16. I do think they win by at least 10 points there in Madison. LSU, South Carolina. Tigers need a win in a big way here. I think LSU goes into Columbia and gets it done.
Yeah, I think so as well. I know South Carolina's looked good early on, but early on, teams will make adjustments, and LSU's a better team than you faced so far. LSU's line pretty decent. I think LSU wins it. I think LSU covers as well.
Yeah, I have that as well. 31-17, I've got the Tigers. Speaking of Tigers, how about Missouri against upstart Boston College? Who had them in the top 25 by week 3 on their bingo card, but top 25 matchup in Columbia, Missouri?
Missouri won there easily. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I even need to explain that one. Yeah. So
I won't be shocked if that game's a little bit closer, but like the Bama-Wisconsin game, I think the Missouri Tigers win by double digits there. Oklahoma hosting Tulane. Boy, Oklahoma did not look good last week against Houston, and Tulane, as a really high-level Group of 5 team, Sooners have to be careful here.
I still think the Sooners win this one, but I don't think they cover the 2-touchdown spread.
Yeah, I think that's a bit high. I think it's a bit high. I think Tulane can push them even in Norman. They have to get ready for Tennessee because that's going to be a wildly entertaining football game. We already talked Texas A&M, Florida, UAB, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Wake Forest, Texas, UTSA, Vanderbilt, Georgia State. Is the SEC going to lose any of those football games? Because I don't see a loss in there.
I don't think so. I don't know why, but something about the Vanderbilt game to me is just like they're going to Vanderbilt the hardest they've ever Vanderbilted. it's like it's not even that I think they'll lose the game. I'm just like it's Vanderbilt. I feel like they'll do a Vanderbilt type thing. But Clark Lee's got his guys ready to go.
Yeah, he does. And by the way, Vanderbilt could have the earliest over-under win total hit of the college football season if they win at Georgia State this week. They had a win total of 2.5 on FanDuel. They're a 10.5 point favorite, sitting at 2-0 at Georgia State this week. Georgia, Kentucky, I've seen the Wildcats push the Bulldogs before. That is not going to happen here.
Nope, not at all. Georgia's going to handle that one easily.
I don't even know how close Kentucky is capable of keeping it. Look, college football doesn't always make sense because if you think, okay, Georgia's a better team than South Carolina. South Carolina just went into Lexington and dog-walked the Wildcats. Georgia shouldn't have any problem here, but if I told you right now, Brandon, they have issues at all in this game, what do you think that looks like?
I honestly, the only thing I could see happening is Georgia players taking the mentality of, well, South Carolina just dog walked Kentucky. We should be able to go in and dog walk Kentucky. Like that's the only thing that I would see happen. Like I'm just completely overlooking them kind of thing. Like we saw with Georgia and Kent State 2 years ago, I think it was, where Kent State kept it close for a long time. But even then, like I think dog walking again, or wildcat walking more appropriately.
An SEC team in need of a win. The Auburn Tigers looking for a bounce back. Do they cover the 28-point spread against New Mexico at home?
I want to say yes. New Mexico, not great right now. And Auburn, I think after that stinker against Cal, you kind of need to show out a little bit. And so I think that Auburn will be motivated to do so.
I don't think Kent State has any chance in the world of keeping up with Tennessee in Knoxville. Vols favored by 49. It's one of the biggest point spreads in all of week 3. And look, if they play the way they did against Chattanooga in week 1, then that could be a 56 to nothing ball game. I doubt we have any disagreement there. Toledo, Mississippi State. Bulldogs coming off a loss in which they were down big against ASU on the road. They fought, they scrapped, they clawed. I think that's a good sign for Jeff Levy's team that they didn't quit when they were down big on the road. To come back home against Toledo, 11.5 point favorites. I think just a win feels good for Mississippi State, right?
You're out of your mind if you think I'm picking against Toledo. I will die for that school. So that's the helmet, the tattoo. I'll die for Toledo. So I'm taking Toledo all the way.
The Rockets have got a pick against an SEC school here on Locked On College Football.
I was there when they beat an SEC school, okay? I was there when they went in and beat Arkansas on the road.
Okay. So we've seen it happen before.
Yeah,
we'll see if it happens once again. That is every SEC game coming up this week, and that's Brandon Olsen, Locked On Gators. Brandon, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.